Imagine the silence that fell over the room when Joseph, the man his brothers had sold into slavery, stood before them and said, "I am Joseph." This moment, filled with the weight of past betrayals and the uncertainty of what might come next, is a pivotal point in the biblical narrative. It is a story of loss, reconciliation, and the unexpected turns of fate that can bring long-lost brothers back together. Joseph's journey from a favored son in Canaan to a slave in Egypt, and then to a powerful ruler, is one of the most dramatic in the Bible. As a young man, Joseph was given a special coat by his father, Jacob, which made his brothers jealous. Their envy grew when Joseph began to have dreams that suggested he would one day rule over them. Unable to tolerate his presence, they sold him into slavery and told their father that Joseph had been killed by a wild animal. Little did they know that this act of betrayal would set in motion a series of events that would lead to their own salvation and the survival of their entire family. In Egypt, Joseph's life took a series of twists and turns. He was sold to Potiphar, a high-ranking official, and eventually became the overseer of his household. However, when Potiphar's wife falsely accused Joseph of misconduct, he was thrown into prison. It was there, in the depths of despair, that Joseph's ability to interpret dreams would change his life forever. Pharaoh, the ruler of Egypt, had a series of troubling dreams that none of his wise men could explain. Joseph was brought before Pharaoh, and, using his God-given gift, he interpreted the dreams to mean that Egypt would experience 7 years of plenty, followed by 7 years of famine. Impressed by Joseph's wisdom, Pharaoh appointed him as the second most powerful man in Egypt, tasked with preparing for the coming famine. Years passed, and the famine that Joseph had predicted began to affect not only Egypt, but also the surrounding lands, including Canaan. Jacob, now an old man, sent his sons to Egypt to buy grain, unaware that they would be meeting their long-lost brother. When the brothers arrived, Joseph recognized them but did not reveal his identity. Instead, he put them through a series of tests to see if they had changed and whether they would protect their youngest brother, Benjamin, whom they had not sold into slavery. The climax of this emotional reunion came when Joseph, unable to bear the pretense any longer, revealed his true identity. The brothers, who had been living with the guilt of their past actions, were stunned and terrified. They expected Joseph to seek revenge, but instead he reassured them, saying, "Do not be incensed with yourselves. For sustenance God has sent me before you." Joseph's words reflect a deep understanding that, despite their past actions, a higher purpose had been at work. He believed that God had orchestrated his journey to Egypt to save his family and many others from the famine. Joseph's forgiveness and compassion are a testament to his growth and maturity. He had every reason to hold a grudge against his brothers, but instead he chose to see the bigger picture. He recognized that his rise to power was not just a matter of personal success, but a divine plan to ensure the survival of his family and the fulfillment of God's promises to their ancestors. The story of Joseph and his brothers is a powerful reminder of the human capacity for forgiveness and the unexpected ways in which past wrongs can be redeemed. It teaches us that even in the darkest moments, there is always the possibility of redemption and reconciliation. Joseph's journey from the depths of betrayal to the heights of power and forgiveness is a timeless lesson in resilience, faith, and the enduring power of family. In the end, Jacob and his entire family moved to Egypt, where they were reunited with Joseph and lived in the land of Goshen. The story of Joseph and his brothers is a narrative of hope, showing that even the most broken relationships can be mended, and that the paths of life, though often unpredictable, can lead to beautiful and unexpected outcomes. Reconciliation and forgiveness are the keys to healing, and Joseph's story is a shining example of how these virtues can transform lives and bring families back together. As the brothers and their father were reunited, the pain of the past was washed away, and a new chapter began, filled with love and the promise of a brighter future. In the end, Joseph's journey teaches us that even in the face of great adversity, there is always the possibility of redemption. The story of Joseph is a timeless reminder that the human spirit is resilient, and with forgiveness and faith, we can overcome even the deepest wounds.